Yes, indeed. Welcome back to the realm of history. We are live tonight for chapter 18, getting ready for the quiz tomorrow. Shorter quiz, but 1 point every question on the content. AP a little bit longer, a little bit more difficult. So I think it's a really important one. I want to talk about a couple of key things tonight. I've got a commercial break that you're not going to want to miss right before the AP info. So I'm hoping to keep you around until that point. I think it's going to be really beneficial for you. Okay. Hey, a little bit lower numbers tonight. Usually we're at about 90. Right now we're at about 40. Maybe a lot of people are at the game or whatnot. Maybe other people did play in a game. Hopefully my loyal fans, I don't really have fans, but my loyal students who are here tonight with us will get something out of this. Make sure that you check in with me. Let me know that you're here in the comments. Go ahead and like this video. That helps set the algorithm in my favor, in our favor, because we are a family. We are the Realm family. Remember that. I always think of you all as part of my extended family. Now, when we take a look at today, I want to talk about the agenda for tonight. Basically, it's pretty similar to what we normally do. Got some key advice for you off the bat. We'll go through some selected key terms, figures, places, concepts. I'm going through most of the review sheet, to be honest with you. I only left a few off that I felt like were pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to give you a couple options on the short answer. I'll go through some what I think are pretty key AP advice and preparation. But before number 4 comes into play, there's an important commercial break that I think you're not going to want to miss. And then finally, we'll close it off with some question and answer session and, of course, some final advice tonight. Let's get into the key advice. We always want to get that going right away. Number 1, hey, make sure you're writing things down from this session. I think what I've done is I've been looking at your review sheets, and I noticed that the students who write some things down from the session, they usually score really well on the quiz. So I think it's beneficial. Remember that writing things down helps you master it. I want you to read your outlines. Read your outlines several times through, right? If you haven't read AMSCO, all right, you need to do that. Not only for this quiz, but as we kind of talk today, getting ready for the AP exam. Remember, I gave you a big clue. Utilize the CED. Utilizing the AP World History CED is going to help you on the AP portion of the quiz tomorrow. I always do things for a reason, right? I don't ever want to waste time in class. So anytime I'm going to take time to give you some pointers or some tips, it's usually going to pay a benefit or dividend for you right away. And that's going to be the case for tomorrow. If I were you, I would really focus on AP topic 3.1. That's really the most pertinent one for correlating with chapter 18. So that's a clue for you right off the bat there. Hey, number 2, pray for the right things, right? I don't want you to pray for success on this quiz. I don't want you to pray for success in your athletic endeavors, but rather understand there's so many more important things going on in your life and the life of your family members and in the world today that we should really be praying for. And if we really want to pray for something, pray for the Lord's guidance. Ask for guidance to be able to use your talents to the fullest. Those talents that you've been blessed with, you don't want to let those go to waste. Use those to the fullest. Ask the good Lord for guidance. I think that's the way to go. But say the prayer of gratitude. Make sure you're saying the prayer of gratitude. Thank you, Lord Jesus, for giving me this day. Thank you, God, for letting me wake up. Thank you for giving me this ride to school, and I got to school safely. Hey, just make sure that you're saying thank you for all the blessings. And that kind of brings me to my next couple of points. Be here now, right? Focus on the moment, like focus on the task at hand. Don't worry about this or that. When you come to the world history class, pop in world history and focus on that quiz tomorrow. Think about the Gunpowder Empires, Ottomans, Mughals, Safavids. You're ready to go. Thank your parents. If you haven't done so lately, go do it right now. Go do it right now. Go say thank you to your parents for all the blessings that they've bestowed upon you. You really are. We are. I'm fortunate to be here tonight. You're fortunate to be here tonight. Think about all the people who are struggling to find their next meal, right? Struggling to find a place to sleep tonight. You are so fortunate. That's because of your parents and your guidance and maybe your grandparents. So you want to make sure, or anybody who's playing a key role in your life, you make sure that you're thanking those people properly. That goes back to saying the prayer of gratitude. Finally, I'll always say this, you can't run away from the challenge. Tomorrow's going to be a challenge. Any type of quiz, there's going to be a challenge. You don't know what to expect. I'm going to give you some clues tonight, but I'm not going to tell you everything you need to know. So that's the way it goes. You got to be ready to meet the challenge, rise to the occasion. Don't shy away. All right. Don't shy away. You're not getting any better if you're not getting challenged. Always remember that. Okay. With that being said, I am ready to get into some key terms, some key places, some key figures, so on and so forth. Let's start with your boy, Timur the Lame, also known as Tamerlane. He's a military leader, or he's a military guy, all right? He had a bad leg, which is why they call him Timur the Lame, but he was most well known in this chapter for halting Ottoman expansion and defeating them in battle. Now, one thing you want to understand, I don't know if I explained this fully in class, but this was only a temporary break in their expansion. So he defeats them, the Battle of Ankara, but then after that, they do go on and conquer and expand a little bit further. Next key baller up is Osman, also known as Othman, okay? The Ottoman Empire is definitely named after him. So he's one of the early key rulers in the Ottoman Empire. Next is Mehmed II, all right? Mehmed II, most well known for leading the conquest of Constantinople. So he's the Ottoman Turkish leader that conquers the great city of Constantinople, which we know was a major feat, a major feature, because Constantinople had 2 1/3 major stone defense wall. So the only way they were able to break through those, and this stone walls held up for over 1,000 years. The only way they were able to break through those is with the Ottoman gunpowder cannon. They had a 20-foot, they had a 100-foot, possibly a 120-foot cannon that they used to blast through these walls. And so that was really the difference maker in them being able to conquer Constantinople. That's why it's so important to understand that gunpowder played such a big role now in our world's history, and especially during this time period, 1400s, 1500s, going forward. Next is Suleiman. A lot of you were confused today. There's a couple different spellings of Suleiman. There's an E-I and an E-Y. Same guy. All right, I just wanted you to know both spellings. He's also known as the lawgiver, and he was really a great ruler. He ruled a vast empire, which was the Ottoman Empire, and under his control, it reached its height of power. We could also call that a golden age, right? So Suleiman, the lawgiver, golden age. Next, you got your boy Salim the Grim. Pretty sweet names coming to you in this chapter, as a matter of fact, or in my opinion. He conquered the Muslim holy cities of Mecca and Medina, which we learned back in chapter 10, the importance of those major cities in relationship to Muhammad's life. But he also brought them under Ottoman control. And later, he defeated the Safavid ruler Ishmael in a battle called Calderon. So a couple of major events in Salim the Grim's days. Next is a system called Devshemy. Devshemy is an Ottoman program that turned young Christian boys that had been kind of captured, in a sense, into Muslim elite soldiers that were called Janissaries. They were like the Navy SEALs of the Ottoman army. I forgot to mention, when you're checking in with me today, make sure you're doing that in the comments, letting me know that you're here, liking this video. If you can, just hit that thumbs up button for me. But then also, if you can't comment because you don't have like a YouTube account, send me a message so that I know that you were in attendance live. I really think there's a correlation with attendance and quiz score. So I want to make sure that I can keep track of that. So send me an email, send me a message, whatever you want to do, but just let me know that you're here live before the session ends tonight. Esfahan is next. And Esfahan is simply the Safavid capital city. And because the Safavids were centered in Persia, which is modern-day Iran, that's exactly where it was located. Next is your guy, Ishmael. Ishmael was probably one of the earliest Safavid leaders that is well known. He took the throne at a very young age 12, so just a little bit younger than many of you ballers and ballerinas. He had quick success, but eventually he became a religious tyrant and had anyone that didn't convert to Shia or Shiite Islam killed off or condemned to death. Shah Abbas, I'm going to keep it pretty simple, most successful Safavid ruler. That's what you want. He's the most successful Safavid ruler, big-time baller, golden age under his rule. A lot of questions today about Safa al-Din. Safa al-Din was the Safavid founder. He was a leader of an Islamic brotherhood that eventually became Shiite Muslims, and that's how the Safavids came. And you can see the relationship between Safa, his first name, and the Safavids. We're moving into section 3 now. We're going to talk about Babur. Babur was the founder of the Mughal Empire. He's the first key ruler. Remember, they're called the Mughals because they're like the descendants of the Mongols. Okay, the Mongols moving into India, basically here. Next up is your guy, Akbar. Okay, Akbar led the Mughal Empire during its golden age. He's known for developing a very fair tax system that is also known to be similar to the graduated tax system that we use in the modern day United States, which is basically a percentage of your income. You are taxed on a percentage of your income, and as you make more money, you get taxed a higher percentage. Shah Jahan. Shah Jahan was Jahangir's son, and I got you, Alexis. Thank you. Jahangir's son had his rivals assassinated, but also was interested in architecture and his love for his beautiful wife, Mumtaz Mahal. So they're kind of like two sides to Shah Jahan. He starts off like killing all of his rivals, like literally assassinating hundreds of people. Okay, anybody that could challenge him for the throne, assassinated. Then later in his life, he marries famous Princess Mumtaz Mahal. He's so much in love with her. When she dies, he builds the Taj Mahal, right? So he was kind of a romantic, but also very brutal, which is kind of hard to think about a person being able to be both, right? It's like such a juxtaposition. Next is Jahangir. Jahangir actually came before Shah Jahan. I've got these guys out of order. I don't like you to go always in order. I like to be flipping around the book to make sure that you are kind of encompassing the whole idea. But Jahangir was the son of Akbar, actually. And he was known as the grasper of the world because he was about expansion. And one of the things, though, that we have to understand about him is that he basically lets his wife, Nur Jahan, rule the Mughal Empire from behind the scenes. Like, nobody knows this, but she's calling the shots. Nur Jahan was actually calling the shots behind the scenes. Kind of an interesting thing. So she's a ballerina, no doubt. Actually, she's a baller. Next is Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb was Shah Jahan's son, and he's the son of Shah Jahan and Mumtaz Mahal. He ended up winning a civil war against his brothers. He kills his brother after the civil war. Then he actually imprisons his own father, Shah Jahan, to actually take over power of the Mughal Empire. Mumtaz Mahal, Shah Jahan's wife, the Taj Mahal is built in honor of her, and it's her burial site. I already mentioned Nur Jahan. I said she was a baller. She was the wife of Jahangir, and she ruled behind the scenes, the Mughal Empire, while he was in power. All right, got some important short answer possibilities for you tonight. I'll go over those real quick. I'm not going to go into depth, but I'm going to give you some clues here. All right, these are the things that you really should focus on in getting ready for that one short answer that's on the content portion. Number one possibility is cultural blending, the causes and results that I went over in the notes. If you look at section 2, I gave you 3 causes and I gave you 4 results. They're not necessarily related in a sense. The causes of cultural blending are things that make cultural blending occur. The results are not predicated on the actual causes, but they are like, if cultural blending happens, what are some examples of how that looks? Okay, so that's what you're looking at there. The second major possibility is the story behind why the Taj Mahal was built, right? So the story between Shah Jahan and his wife Mumtaz Mahal and what happens there. So you want to be able to kind of retell that story historically and why it was important and pertinent. And number 3, if you look at the bottom of your review sheet, it says key groups, and it says they are the Gunpowder Empires. First of all, whether this shows up as a short answer or not, it's really important in the AP part that you know the Gunpowder Empires, Ottomans, Safavids, Mughals, and you want to be able to compare and contrast those 3. Like, how do they differ religiously? How do they differ differ governmentally. So on and so forth would be areas that you could compare them. Okay, well, it's time for commercial break. This commercial is paid in full by our sponsors. I got two sponsors tonight, Cocoa Bomb Shop. You can look them up on Instagram. And then also we've got Grace's Bake Shop. So two of my former students that are starting businesses. But this commercial is really just a funny situation. But I think if you pay very close attention here, it's a riddle. Yeah, so pay attention. I'm going to play this bad boy. I want you to really clue in here so that you can get something out of it. It's not easy. It's a riddle for a reason. Okay, here we go. Pretty excited about this. Let me know in the comments what you think.
Hey y'all, this here's guest speaker on story time with Master Lincoln. Now my name's Trapper John and I've been doing this for quite some time. I got a little clue for y'all for tomorrow's quiz on the AP portion. Now I'm going to share this riddle with you and you're going to have to listen up closely. Now here we go. The good book of blue holds the answer true. Pick it up and explore what you must adore. The sought after clue lies within. The margin of error is very thin. It's not too hard if you think again. Hey, isn't that just metacognition?
I think it's a pretty good riddle. Hopefully you paid attention. Not sure if you can crack that code. But nonetheless, yes, I love Trapper John. He shows up at least once a year on the live reviews, and he's a pretty funny guy. You should talk to him sometime and get to know him. Well, maybe not. He's kind of scary too. You never know. Okay, let's get into the AP information. First of all, I'm going to give you some clues, further clues than that, on what might show up in the MCQ style question. So my biggest piece of advice is to know the Gunpowder Empires very well. You want the Ottomans, the Safavids, especially for the MCQs. Those are the ones that the questions focus on. It also focuses on your boy Shah Abbas, and then also the relationship with Shia or Shiite Muslims. Okay, so those are the things, like if you know those things and then you know the background with them, you should be pretty good on the MCQ. You're going to have to use the prompt. It's got a prompt, right? So, but this is kind of the topic of the questions and the prompt. The SAQ is going to be a little bit different. There's a couple versions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a choice. I got two SAQs on this bad boy. I'm going to let you choose one. And remember, when you choose one, you got to do three questions, letter A, letter B, and letter C. So you got to make sure that you answer all three of those. But you have two options. You choose one, okay? Topics of interest on the SAQs, things to focus on. Jahangir's reign, Akbar, his father, how the Hindus in India kind of correlate there, how the challenges were between the Muslim rulers and the Hindu factions within India. The Mughals, the Mongols, their interaction. Remember, the Mughals start as Mongols, descendants, right? So there's a little cultural blending there. And then I really think it just falls back to knowledge of the Gunpowder Empires, right? So if you have good knowledge of the Gunpowder Empires, the Ottomans, the Safavids, the Mughals, their key leaders, their key administrative ideas, their key religious ideas, their key military strengths and weaknesses, I think you should be on your way to success there. All right, ballers, as I said, it was a little bit shorter. We're at 20 minutes. I want to get into question and answer time. So I'm going to go work the comments. Just give me a moment here. One of the things is I want to go up here and make sure I can see all the comments. I see a lot of ballers showing up, which is awesome. I appreciate that. Remember, if you didn't get onto the comments, you can send me a message or an email. Mr. Jenky's back. I see that. Yeah, I see a lot of key ballers here. Malik, it says, look at this. Malik says he's my #1 fan. Thanks, Master Malik. I do appreciate that. It's very kind of you. All right, let's see. Moving our way down. Malik is a funny guy. Malik's a funny guy, man. There's some funny stuff going on in the comments. All right, I'm looking for questions. Here's one right here. Do we have to know if the empire practiced Shia or Sunni? Yeah, that would be an important factor, Nina. The most important part would be related to the Safavids, which were Shia. I think that one would probably have the biggest impact. Yeah, I see you, Grant. Yeah, I was a hunter. I'm looking for questions here. All right, Master Roman. Should we know about? Yeah, he was mentioned. That's one of the sons that Nur Jahan had to kind of deal with, Jahangir's sons, and so that would be kind of the only thing that you'd really need to focus on there. It might help you on the SAQs on the AP part, but it's like as far as the content, probably not. Sweet drip in the profile pic too. Always repping the realm, Roman. Always repping the realm, man. I appreciate that. All right, let's see. What does the riddle mean? Well, you got to figure out what the riddle means, Master Hudson. Nina, sign of strength. These are key groups. One of the things that you want to understand is that in India, they have what's called a caste system. Okay. And the untouchables are like the lowest level of the caste system. They're the people that like are extremely poor and they don't have much social mobility. That's probably not going to show up on this quiz, but for the future, it's important to understand the Indian caste system, which you could not move up or down. And you're born into this class and you can't get out of it in really any way possible. So that's really what that's referring to there. It's the Indian caste system. Elena, key accomplishments of the Safavids. All right. Well, they're a Shia Muslim group, right? They eventually came to control all of Persia, which is modern day Iran. They expanded and they fought against the Ottomans to limit their growth. They are, I'll tell you, one of the big things you need to know, Elena, is the fact that they were major contributors, exporters, traders of Persian rugs. Like that was their economy. Like really, that was one of the biggest things that I could share with you. That's a key accomplishment that you really want to focus on. Okay, religion in the Ottoman Empire, Muslim. Okay, spreading Islam, a little bit of Shia, a little bit of Sunni, so some Sufi also. I would say the Mughal Empire is mostly Muslim, but there's Hindu, there's Buddhism mixed in there. There's a little bit of Sufism. There's Sikhism, which we also had in section 3, and it's also on the review sheet. So you're going to want to know, how that kind of mixed and blended in the Mughal Empire. Well, I can't explain the riddle. You got to think about it. If you want me to play the commercial again at the end, I will. Let me know. Key accomplishments of the Ottomans. Okay, first of all, conquering Constantinople, taking that over, making that Istanbul. That's the #1 accomplishment. Taking over the Muslim holy cities is a second accomplishment, which spreads the Islamic faith. The Devshemy and Janissary system, right? Those are some of the key things. The use of cannon and artillery, the use of muskets in battle, gunpowder. All of those would be things that you would definitely want to include there. Malik, listen to Caitlin. Caitlin is a key baller, and I think you should listen up. Chloe, that's a good question. All right, I've made it through all the questions there. I would definitely stay on to answer more questions. I think that's important. So if you have any questions or comments, I am here to help you. We're at 25 minutes. I kind of hypothesized that this would go for about only 30 minutes because it's a shorter quiz. So go ahead and fire away, ballers, if you have any more questions or comments for me. I'll just wait here calmly. Let's see. As voluntary crew captain, I have a higher power rank than Caitlin. No, not necessarily. Favoritism. Danny D's got a real question. Can you go over some accomplishments of the Mughals? Okay, so first of all, spreading Islam in India, and also you got to think about the Taj Mahal is a great architectural structure. Like that's another one. And then basically trade in the Indian Ocean that they started to get involved with. So all of those things would be really some of the major accomplishments of the Mughals. Anything that your guy Akbar or Jahangir or Shah Jahan accomplished would definitely be some things that you'd want to know there. Grant says, what should I know about the Sikhs? The Sikhs were basically a mixture, a cultural blend of Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, and they kind of got into a series of wars with the leaders of the Mughal Empire, and that's really what you want to know there. The Taj Mahal was built by Shah Jahan to honor his wife who died early while giving birth, and it had a reflection pool and a burial site for her. He was just so heartbroken that she had died, and he built it. But the deeper meaning is that to build the Taj Mahal, he had to heavily tax the people of the Mughal Empire, and then also they had to work on it to build it. A lot of people died. A lot of people lost a lot of money. It was It was a very expensive endeavor, and so that's one of the key things that you want to really know. In what ways should we compare the Gunpowder Empires, right, Sophia? You want to be able to compare them, all right, militarily, religiously, governmentally, and geographically, I would say. So you want to know what were some of their focal points militarily? Obviously gunpowder, but did they use other things, right? Religiously, like most of them are Muslim, but what are some of the other cultural blends there? Geographically, kind of where did they rule? 3 separate areas. And then also governmentally, like what was their tax system? How did they control the large empire? What did they do economically? Okay, so those are some of the things that you want to focus in on there. Nina, 513. Content or AP, Nina? If it's probably content because that would be around the right page. Yeah, it's definitely content. So I will answer your question just 1 second. Sign of weakness, I don't have all of the pages memorized, right? So 513. Yeah, of course, that page I actually did put into your notes as a helpful way to explain cultural blending. So yeah, I don't think that would hurt you in any way to study. I would definitely agree with that being a helpful chart there. All right, let's see here. Well, Safavids started off as a Shia Muslim group, and they kind of inhabit modern-day Persia. Your boy Ishmael, 12-year-old ruler, kind of expands and conquers most of Persia. And then from there, they establish Esfahan as the capital city. They start to export rugs. They bring in Chinese artists, remember, to kind of teach them how to create great architecture and other artistic projects. And so those are some of the key things you want to know there. Well, you just want to know it's a faction of Islam, Amanda, and kind of how the Safavids especially really focused on everybody needs to be Shia, Ishmael says if you don't submit to being a Shia, you're going to be condemned to death. And then how does that impact, the rebellions that might take place and so on and so forth there. Uh Master Grant, it's a tough question. There's a lot of ballers. I'm not going to call people's names out right now. I do have like a top five in mind that I could probably spread out. I'll tell you, it's really loaded at the top though. I could tell you 10. I could tell you 10. I know like there's a couple that have separated. There's a couple that have separated, right? There's a couple kids who've like double aced on this last quiz, which is like I was really impressed by that. Couple kids that absolutely balled, didn't ace. Nobody really was close to acing the midterm, but there were kids who, scored a legit A plus. Well, I think the only A pluses were with aided extra credit. So I don't think there were any legit A pluses. I think everybody who got an A plus had some extra credit. So, but nonetheless, there were A's, which is really a good sign. Well, I've been talking about Safavid accomplishments, basically conquering Persia, establishing Esfahan, and then establishing European trade, mostly based on the Persian rugs that they created. Those are really, those are just a few, but those are like the big picture ones. Nina brought up 513. I think that was probably one of the only pages I really referenced in the notes. So that would be probably the only one. Well, Simone, that's why I gave you the commercial. You know what I mean? Like you could probably rewatch this bad boy and listen to it again. But that's a riddle. That's what you got to figure it out. That's what riddles are meant for. Can't find a nicer kid than Simone, though. I got to tell you, she's just a wonderful student. God bless Simone. She does a great job doing those readings too. I got to tell you that. That's not an easy thing to get up there and do those readings. Adri, Simone, Mia D, balling out up there. I only go to the girls' mass because I have girls' seminar, so I don't know who does the readings for the boys, but anybody who does the readings is a baller. Ryan, I would just say 513 about cultural blending. I can guarantee there's going to be a question about cultural blending. It could be a multiple choice. It could be a short answer, but yeah, that would probably be the most important page to focus on. Guys, I'm not going to name names on who's in the top 10 ballers, or ballerinas. I'm not going to do that. You guys are trying to trap me. Yeah, I'm not calling people's names out on that kind of stuff. Sorry, guys. Any other questions that I can answer for you? I suppose at this time, if you have any questions that I can answer about anything else, I would do that. Yes, Francis, sign of strength. That takes a lot of courage. I got to tell you, and that's a dutiful thing to do because it's all about religion and faith, and that means a lot. Yeah, I'm proud of you. I'm very proud of you, Francis. Hopefully one day I can get over there to a boys' mass. I just always have girls' seminar, so I have to, be there in my class. But I really do think that that's fantastic. Sunnis and Shiites. Shiites, Nina, remember, they believe that the Shia believe that the descendants of Muhammad are the only ones that are worthy enough to be the caliph or the leader, whereas the Sunni, they don't really care about who the leader's bloodline is or what the leader's bloodline is, as long as the leader follows what's called the Sunnah, which was Muhammad's example, kind of living their lives how he lived his life. Yeah, guys, you don't want to say anything mean. You don't want to say anything mean to each other, guys. I'm seeing some comments there. Yeah, Cameron, I see you there. That's good. That's all right. That's all right. Yeah, I gave you that one, right, Nina? Should be good to go there. Well, some were more liberal than others. Like Akbar was a pretty liberal ruler. He kind of was very accepting of many different religious practices, but others in the Mughal Empire, like Jahangir and Shah Jahan, were a little bit more strict, enforcing Islamic law. Aurangzeb, especially in the Safavid Empire, we said that your guy Ishmael was more of a religious tyrant, so he was not very welcoming. He was not very open to different religious practices. So those are a few examples that I could come up with right there. What do you want to know? Cultural blending is just this, like for example, one of the causes of cultural blending is migration, right? People move from place to place, and when they settle in a new spot, one of the results of that cultural blending could be, one of the results of that cultural blending could be like religious mixing or religious blending or intermarriage, which leads to racial and ethnic um, blending and mixed races and things of that nature that come out of this cultural blending, and the different types of religion that expand, like the Protestant Reformation really is an example. As people traveled, different factions of Protestantism came about. So those are some examples that you might be able to use. Oh man, I got a lot of jams. I really like Fireball by Pitbull. That one, like if I want to get pumped up, I'm gonna listen to Fireball. Um, I really like this song by Selena Gomez and somebody else. I think it's called like Calm Down or Be Calm, something like that. It has like an Arabic beat in the background. I really kind of like that one. Maybe a little Bollywood beat to it. I heard that one on the radio the other day. Um, I'm feeling Taylor Swift. I'm taking my daughters to the Taylor Swift concert, so I'm fired up about that. I like the new song starting to gain on me. Let's see, what else? I got my track playlist for the girls track team that I play. I like a lot of those songs on that playlist. But yeah, that's pretty much it right now that I could say. Let's see. Religions of the Mughals, Sarah. Yeah, you got mostly a mixture of Islam. Then you've got the Sikhs, which I talked about. You've got Buddhism and Hinduism, all kind of cultural blending in the Mughal Empire. Yeah, Malik, T Grizzly. The first day out thing, it seems to be all about drugs. I know a lot of the songs, if you really listen to the lyrics, are about bad things. So the lyric kind of turn me. I'm not really feeling it. I'm not really feeling it at all. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm good to go. I've been on for 40 minutes. Yeah, guys, I'm not going to go over the guesses on the riddles. I mean, that's why I gave you the riddle. If I tell you the answer to the riddle, then what's the point? You guys got to figure it out. Yeah, something like that. Okay. No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. I'm just excited, to be able to go to this concert because everybody couldn't get in. I do like her music. I really do, but I'm not like a crazy fanatic or anything like that. All right. Please explain. Please explain. Okay, I think I'm good to go. I will stay on for about 2 more minutes just in case there are any serious questions, or I'm cool with these questions here. I'll answer your questions, guys. I'm not afraid if I don't want to answer when I don't have to. So, you can shoot your questions in there if you want. Oh, well, who's first? Who's first, Master Malik? That's I'd like to know. No, 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 Brendan H. We're not. I'm not going to give you the answer, guys. You got to just figure it out. You'll find out tomorrow. No, the riddle is a hint in itself. It's like Inception. You can't have a hint of a hint of a hint of a hint. Oh, okay. I didn't know. I will say, like the I don't know if it's the headquarters, but there's like an office in Novi, and it's on 12 Mile because I kind of lived in that area. And when I drove by there in Christmas, they had such a nice Christmas light display, Malik. It was beautiful. So I was very appreciative of that. I thought that was really cool. No, there is not, Pierre. All right. Well, my final advice, one, read through your outlines carefully. I think that's always number one. Two, utilize the review sheet to study up and get ready for the quiz tomorrow. Number three, if you want to watch the video lessons, that might be a nice way to kind of get you can hear me talking you through the key things again. And number four, I'd like to add utilizing the AP World History course exam and description that I went over today. I think that's a helpful tool as well. With that being said, I love you guys very much, all of my students, all of my loyal students here that come and want to get themselves in the right situation to make themselves ready for the quiz. And I just hope you guys have a wonderful night, and we'll see you tomorrow for the quiz. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful night. Say thank you to your parents.